EPA meteorologist Bobby Marchich here with your outlook for September 8th, 2023. It is Friday, end of this short work week, and the Friday video forecast is sponsored by McCall Collective Brewing. McCall is a family-owned and operated brewery with 2 locations in the Lehigh Valley. Their original Southside Allentown location is at 102 East Susquehanna Street, and their second location, McCall Collective Tap House in Trexlertown, is located at 7743 Hamilton Boulevard. Both locations are open 7 days a week and have a full food menu, plenty of beer to choose from for both dine-in or takeout, along with local wine and cocktails. Fall at McCall begins just in time for football season and from 12 to 5 every Friday through Sunday at the Susquehanna location. They'll have $1 off all pints and 10 wings for $10, among many other items. For more information about that and all upcoming events, please visit their Facebook page, place online orders, visit their website, mccallcollectivebrewing.com. They are the proud sponsors of the Friday video forecast. So yesterday we had a surface trough across the region. Today we have an actual cold front that's going to be pretty much right on top of the region. This is early afternoon. It's going to move a little bit further eastward, but it's going to become the focus of scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's going to feel like same thing all over again. I don't think the coverage today is going to be like it was yesterday. Yesterday was just wild with the amount of the coverage of the scattered showers and thunderstorms across the interior locations. But that boundary today will not only be generally draped over the region today, it's going to be remaining there over the weekend. It's going to stall out and just kind of sit there for a couple of days. And it's going to finally kick out here on Monday. So what does that mean? That means we have near daily chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms. I do think today we still have a severe threat. And as a matter of fact, I have the image for you there, if I get to that here, which is right here. Here is the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. The slight risk in yellow is slightly farther south and east from where it was yesterday. So, I mean, it's not much difference here. It's pretty close. Yesterday, the slight risk was more out here like this. Okay? And that's basically where the severe thunderstorm watch went. So this is like ever so slightly south and east from where it was yesterday. So pretty much the same areas. We just might involve a little bit more areas further south and east today. But that is a slight risk for severe, 15% chance of severe within 25 miles of any given point. And yesterday that worked out quite well. We had quite an active day. A lot of damage reports from wind, especially, which is primarily what we expected. One thing that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop was yesterday in the video I was saying there's probably not going to be a hail threat, but we actually had some large hail with some discrete cells that popped ahead of that main line of storms going through central PA. We did have that main line covered well, but because there was some discrete stuff pop, every time you have discrete cells, individual cells, they take on supercellular characteristics, and that's when you get some large hail, you get some tornadoes. We didn't have tornadoes yesterday, but we did have some large hail with that discrete stuff initially. So something like that could happen again today with any discrete stuff that pops ahead of this main line as well. But I don't think it's going to be quite as much coverage as yesterday. Okay, not as much today as yesterday. Here's what the global models have later today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. We go over to the NAM high-res future simulated radar, and we'll start this off at 4 o'clock. We have some activity down here in the Delmarva region. It looks like it starts right around about 3 or so, 2, 3 o'clock, and then starts pushing northward, okay? This is that discrete stuff I was talking about we had yesterday. It's discrete individual cells, and you could have some hail with some of those and some gusty winds as well. This is going to lift off to the north, that discrete stuff, and then kind of dissipate. This is the main action that will be coming in, but very late. It's going to be late evening and overnight, moving southwest and northeast, and the NAM kind of just fizzles this apart and really doesn't do much to it or with it. But again, it's focused on those same interior areas. It's really the discrete stuff early on right here that gets areas farther east, and that's it. And this stuff is generally like, again, it's like a starts to develop around 2, 3 o'clock across Delaware, South Jersey, moves northward to late afternoon across far southeastern Pennsylvania, maybe southern Pennsylvania, lifts off to about I-78 in the early evening hours, and then everywhere gets a break in those areas that had that discrete stuff early. Great break in the action before the next round comes in, and that's not until late evening, first in south central Pennsylvania, making its way northeastward toward northeastern Pennsylvania. This isn't really that impressive compared to what we saw yesterday. And this is what the HRR has. Again, it has some discrete stuff here, a little bit, not as much, but a little bit of discrete stuff here around the Delmarva region during the afternoon hours. And here's that main batch. This is a little bit more put together, and this is a little bit more believable too. This, you could have some pretty decent storms coming in, again, mid to late evening in south central PA, and then it'll be late evening to just after midnight areas further north and east across northeast PA. Okay, so that's going to be how this is going to unfold today. I think the HRR has a better representation of what it's going to be looking like. So again, threats like yesterday, it's going to be the same thing. Gusty winds in any storm. You could have locally heavy rainfall in any storm, and you could have some frequent lightning with these as well. And any of that discrete stuff that I showed earlier that could pop in the early to mid-afternoon hours and goes through late afternoon, early evening. This discrete stuff here could also contain some hail, and they could be a little bit larger too. So that is the threat for today. That is it for today. Now, we're going to turn our attention to, and if you don't want any hurricane coverage, you want to drop off. I know the video yesterday went really long. I don't plan on going as long today, but this is a Category 5 major hurricane, Category 5 monster, as they led at the 11 o'clock advisory this evening. It has 160 mile per hour sustained winds. To reach Category 5, you need to be 157 or greater. And this is one of the most impressive rapid intensifications in the Atlantic basins that I've ever seen. Okay, it went from what it was just like 24 hours ago to what it is now. Or actually 36 hours ago to where it is now. It went from like a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in like 36 hours, which is pretty impressive. And it's going to maintain major hurricane through this entire path. Now, I will say, right now it's a Category 5. It's actually expected to be an even stronger Category 5, but there is such a thing. So that's the highest level there is. By the time we get to Friday morning, the National Hurricane Center estimates is for 180 mile per hour sustained winds and gusts to 220 miles per hour. Thankfully, there's no no land masses out here, because that would be unbelievable. As far as catastrophic would not even be able to cover what the kind of devastation that you'd see if there was some kind of island out here. It would just get train wrecked. There was no way. Okay, because there's no help for that at all. So the National Hurricane Center has that track where why did I just get rid of that? I'm sorry. The National Hurricane Center has that track going north of the islands here. It does have it weakening after a little bit. So it's going to max out. Probably going to be going through some eye wall replacement cycles along the way, maybe one or two. You could have multiple, and then when it does that, the outer eye wall constricts the inner eye wall, chokes it off, and it enlarges the eye wall diameter, so then the storm can grow in size. But during that process, and when that happens, when you have an eye wall replacement cycle, it loses intensity for at least temporarily. So we are going to have some. And once you get out here, early next week, this late weekend, early next week, you're going to be not quite as favorable of an environment like it is now. Like, it had an environment just to blow up. It's not going to be quite as favorable once it gets out here early next week. But you see, by 8 p.m. Tuesday, it's only just due north of Puerto Rico in terms of longitude. So we got a long ways to go before it even would come to the United States or even think about affecting the United States. But this is an absolute beast. And that's what it is. That's what it looks like right there. Big buzzsaw going through the central Atlantic right now. So what we're going to look at here is, again, each day we're just going to look at these ensemble tracks and see what it's doing. This is where the European ensemble has it going. There is a spread when you get out here. Most of it's curving up toward Atlantic Canada. Okay, that's kind of the general consensus. But you see some of these westernmost, these are all, each one of these strings here, little spaghetti plots here, are individual runs of the ensemble members, and there's 50 of them on the European ensemble. But you see the western side of this gets not really close to our area. I know one does, but the rest of them are mostly that on the western side of that envelope there. Could affect eastern New England, places like Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, eastern Long Island even, but more than likely Maine, coastal Maine, and then Nova Scotia up in these areas here. So the majority is taking it up in this general direction. So we have to keep an eye on this because it's awfully close, not necessarily to our area, but I know a lot of people have family up here in New England that need to pay attention to this. So if you're in eastern New England especially, you need to keep a close eye on this. And we're going to continue to do that here in the next couple of days. This is far from decided what the track is going to be. Models are still in the guessing stage yet. They're getting a little bit better as the days go on, but we're not going to really know for sure definitively exactly what's going to happen until we get to like late in the weekend or early next week, like Sunday, Monday time frame. Okay, so when I do the Monday video forecast, I should be coming out here with, instead of guessing stuff, we're going to be giving you like definitive, this is what it's going to do. Okay, we should have a much better idea by then, and it won't be anything like this in terms of intensity at that point. Could still be a major hurricane as it's making that turn, but I don't think it's going to, I think it might be more like a category 3 at that point. So we'll see. Hope for the best, because this thing really exploded into what it is now, and it's one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes that I've seen in a long time. Hopefully that doesn't continue to get much worse than it already is. I'm EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for September 8th, 2023. Have a great Friday.